All right, y'all. We are back, and it's been some months since we dropped any content on this channel, but we are back because House of the Dragon is up. We on episode 2. Um, I'm just gonna tell y'all right now, I'm already loving it. I'm already back into this Game of Thrones, hooked on it. Y'all, I'm already into the lore. I'm already liking the characters. I like every character. I thought it was going well. Listen, y'all remember how Game of Thrones ended? I mean, it was a dumpster fire, and a lot of my friends that loved Game of Thrones, a lot of them came in on season 7. I think I jumped in on season 4, and we all had to backtrack and then catch up. Season 8 was the biggest letdown, and none of my friends plan on watching House of the Dragon. And I understand it. I understand it 100%. I'm just going to speak on these first 2 episodes. I've watched them twice, and I just finished watching them. And let's see the name of the episodes because that's important. Not really, but I'm going to say it's important. Episode 1 was The Heirs of the Dragon, and episode 2, The Rogue Prince. Alright, so I got these pictures of what I was trying to have available for y'all to see are the characters with their names, so y'all will know what I'm talking about. But apparently, the internet doesn't believe anybody needs to know the names of the characters, so we just gonna have to kind of YOLO it. And I'm gonna start with this picture right here, and I'm gonna point out the people that I know, and we'll follow that way. All right, so obviously this is the king. This is Viserys. This is Corleone. No, that's Grand Theft Auto, y'all. Anyway, this is Corlys Valerian. I'm not sure his name. And then this is the Princess Rhaenys. All right, so she's the one that was at the beginning of episode 2. Episode 1, where the king. This would really help if I had the names, but the old king, they called him the old king. He had to pick between his oldest descendant, which is his oldest son's only child, which is this woman, Princess Rhaenys, and the oldest male descendant, which is this guy, Viserys. All right, so, and this is the hand of the king, y'all. Some of this stuff is kind of gonna ring a bell. This right here is Alicent Hightower. So the hand, I just know his last name is Hightower, and it looks like this is Rhaenyra. All right, so right here in the red, I'm not pointing down. I don't know who this woman is, and this is Lady Lena. Alright, but that's just the back of her head, y'all. If y'all trying to figure out what that is, that's the back of her head. And that looks like an older brother, but we haven't seen this character yet. But I'm sure this family right here is going to play a huge role in House of the Dragon. Alright, and this is the guy. We're going to talk about this guy. Well, not really. We're actually not going to talk about this guy, but he is in episode 2. I'm just going to start with my first thoughts. Let's see, can I get a picture of I'm not sure what that is. You know what? Here we go, right here. Rhaenyra. I really like Rhaenyra. She definitely, I don't know if anybody remembers this young woman. But wow, why did it skip to that? This young woman right here, she is a 100% reincarnation, or it's the flip. Daenerys is a reincarnation of that girl. Now, later on down the storyline, they may have opposite personalities, but right now, who Daenerys grew into being. After that, Where Are My Dragons? You remember after they killed Khal Drogo and she just turned cold? I don't remember what season that was, but that's who Rhaenyra is like. That Daenerys. And y'all see this? She's even dressed like this in the first episode when she jumps off the dragon. But episode one. Let's talk about episode one. Episode one, the old king, has to pick between his descendants, and he picks a male heir, which turns out to be Viserys. Viserys has a brother, the brother being Daemon Targaryen. All right, and I like Daemon, and I think we got the wrong impression of Daemon. I think they're painting Daemon to be a villain, but I don't really get the impression he's a villain. I get the impression he's ambitious, which is two different things. Viserys, to me, seems like he would be more of the villain, or to better put it, us as the fans probably won't like him for long. All right, and he probably won't be around for long. As y'all can see, every time they show Viserys, let's get a picture of him back up. What's that picture that we were just looking at? Yeah, we're just going backwards and backwards and backwards. All right, we just all over the place. Right here. All right. Every time they show this guy, he's in the in the infirmary. All right. Every time they show him, he's falling apart. They got his hands in maggots, or they're picking something off his back, or they're trying to get an heir because they don't look like he's long for this world. But I do like him. I got him in the would you like him for long category. I got him in no. All right. He really wanted that child, and the child, the birth. All right. Him basically choosing his son over his wife. I already knew that was gonna rub people the wrong way. I don't know my thoughts on it because I don't truly understand it. After speaking with Leo, I was under the impression, and it could be true. Y'all let me know if y'all believe it's true or not. The wife was gonna die regardless. So all he did was he kind of sped it up, and that is what the Maester, I guess that's what it's called. Yeah, he told him. He said, "Now's the time where you have to make an impossible choice. You got to pick between your two. You got to pick between your wife and your child." And he picked the child, but I don't know if that necessarily meant the wife was gonna die anyway. I really don't get that, and I really didn't get the child came out crying, and then the next scene the child was gone. So I just didn't get it, but it is what it is. I wish they would explain why the child died. Maybe somebody in the comment section explain it to me. I don't get that part, but the child was crying. I thought it was a successful birth. He even named him. But to put the two episodes together, Daemon Targaryen, okay. Daemon Targaryen, they're having a funeral, and Daemon tells Rhaenyra, I might be butchering her name, Rhaenyra, that she has to be strong for her dad. All right. The reason why I say they're painting, I'm gonna tell y'all why we think Daemon is a bad person. It's the hand. The hand of the king, Otto Hightower, is the problem, y'all. I think he's the bad guy in the show. All right. He reminds me a lot of Tywin Lannister, but I'm not gonna put that on him yet. But I do get the impression from when he tried to force his daughter on the king, on top of the fact that we never actually saw Daemon say heir for the day. Heir for the day, that was what they were mad at Daemon about saying. We actually didn't see Daemon say that. The mistress said it, but not necessarily him. So I actually have my eye on the hand, and Daemon is telling Viserys this whole time that the enemy is the hand, and he's not listening to that. So, like I said, when I'm watching, I'm really thinking the hand is the bad guy, not Daemon. That's what I'm saying. Daemon is really looking out for his family. He's ambitious. He wants to sit on the crown, and rightfully so. He feels like Viserys right here is too weak to sit on the crown. All right. So I will say that it does look like he's the bad guy, but he's not done anything bad yet. I mean, I don't know what they did with the Nice Watch where they was hacking those citizens into pieces. I got the impression those were criminals, but he just overreacted. So it's kind of like a, you know what I'm saying, like maybe he went overboard. Well, he went overboard, obviously, but I'm saying maybe you could paint that as the villain. But so far, Rhaenyra told him, if you want to be king, kill me now. Obviously, he didn't do that. Like, you could tell, like, when they first showed him sitting on the throne and he came down with a gift for her, he likes his niece. So he's not going to do anything to her. And then when the Lord Corlys, or whatever the guy's name is, uh, seems like he's trying to backstab the king. When he did that, he told Damon told him, he said, I can talk about my brother however I want, but you can't. All right, so he's clear on where he stands with his family. He's not gonna mess with his family. Now, the other one, Rhaena Targaryen, you know, the oldest siblings, the woman that's married to Corlys. Um, I'm kind of split on where she stands because she's not really put her thoughts out there. She's toying with Rhaenyra just to kind of spur her into doing something, but not really doing nothing of her own. So I wish I could just show them all without actually. I feel like we keep running into spoilers because every time I look at pictures, I'm like, these are pictures that I have not seen. So I'm not sure that we should look at any more pictures. We should just stop with this guy right here. But that's my thoughts on the Targaryens, and that's my thought on the Hand. I think the Hand is the bad guy. You can remember Littlefinger and the Spider. Yeah, I remember from Game of Thrones. I think the Hand is both of them into one character, but they're not really portraying him. They're actually portraying him to be the good guy, but I don't know if we can trust him. The daughter, Alicent Hightower. Let's backtrack. Let's start the sentence with talking about Rhaenyra. I believe Rhaenyra has a love interest with Alicent. Alright, I'm just putting that out there. That's what it looks like. I could be wrong, but I think I'm 100% right. And I think by Viserys, or the king right here that we're looking at, picking Alicent as his wife to be, that rubbed Rhaenyra the wrong way because that was going to be her girl. I could be stretching this, but I really believe that's the case. And if that's the case, you know, you also have two friends that it will flip the friendship into being now she's your stepmother. But let's just spectate. I don't think Viserys will be alive long enough to marry anybody. All right, I don't think nobody's gonna let him stick around long enough. It's too many people with interest in the future, and they keep showing this crab guy. Well, they showed him all through episode 2. Well, not all through, but I wonder will he be a villain that kind of like lingers in the storyline, because you don't have to deal with this issue right now. It's the same as, if y'all remember Game of Thrones episode 1 when Robert Baratheon came to Winterfell. They were talking about the Targaryens, and what's his name, Ned Stark. He didn't want to talk about it, obviously, because he had a Targaryen at his house. But the point is that storyline of dealing with the Targaryens wasn't the plot of season 1, and that's what I'm saying with this crab guy. I don't believe dealing with this crab guy will be a season 1 thing. I think he'll just linger in the plot through season 1. I could be wrong, but he may become a more interesting character in season 2, season 3, however far we go. Unless it's like Legend of Korra. If y'all ever watched Avatar, Avatar went 4 seasons, and Legend of Korra, to my memory, only went 3 seasons. So I guess that ain't that bad. But basically what I'm getting at is, if people don't find interest in this show, it won't last long enough to really draw out the plot. They'll rush this one to an end because you're not watching it. So I kind of wonder what the numbers are doing on this. You know, we ain't got but 2 episodes in, but they've been 2 good episodes. You got dragons. The dragons look good. You got all the old locations. Well, I'm not gonna say all of them. We haven't seen Winterfell yet, but the only location that mattered to me, King's Landing, we got it. The Red Keep, and Dragonstone, and we got, like I said, we've seen 2 dragons. When it was on that bridge, you could clearly tell that Rhaenyra's dragon is way smaller than Daemon's dragon. But I say that to say this: if everybody starts fighting, I wonder how that'll work out. I think you got 4 people that could ride a dragon: the king, the oldest, Rhaena, Rhaenyra, and Daemon. I think those are the only ones that could, ride a dragon or control the dragons. To my understanding, I would bet money that that's the only ones. Um, what else? Okay, what was season 2 about? Season 2, um, Rhaenyra showed that, like I said, she's a lot like Daenerys. Rhaenyra is a lot like Daenerys. I really like that. She seems to want, you know who Rhaenyra really seems like? Even before she turned into Daenerys in episode 2. In episode 1, she reminded me a lot of Arya Stark. So it's like they know the personalities you like from Game of Thrones, so they're bringing them back and putting them into these new characters, which is fine. This show's still original, so it's not like you're just sitting here like, oh man, this is a carbon copy of an old show. It still looks good. It still feels original, and you have no clue what's gonna happen next. And the politics of the show are, to me, the best part. Like, I don't know if y'all are new to Game of Thrones, and we all knew the House of Dragon, but if you're new to Game of Thrones, there's action in Game of Thrones, but the show to me is really about politics. All right, so if you like violence, Game of Thrones ain't really. I mean, there's violence in Game of Thrones, but if I were to give you a percent, Game of Thrones is 30% violence and 70% politics, straight storyline plot, and then just a splash of action. And that was it. We saw the I don't know what you call it, but they were doing the joust in episode 1. Did anybody catch on that was a Baratheon that was trash talking? I don't know if y'all saw this, but he was trash talking the I think they call her the queen that never was. And when he said what he said to her, the king asked this guy right here, the king, he said, "Do you want us to cut out his tongue?" That guy, I would bet you money, those two, the guy with the dreads and that wife, I would bet you money they're gonna knock that Baratheon guy off. Cause all she did was smirked at him. But I would bet you money they're gonna knock him off. That woman is gonna stick around for a while, but I don't think she's gonna be what's that woman's name that was so ruthless in Game of Thrones? Cersei's. She seems like she could be a Cersei type personality, but I don't think we'll get there. We definitely need a Joffrey type personality, which is what Daemon is looking like. And we need a Tyrion. We need a smart guy in the show. We need a ruthless person. And I really feel like the show needs a Jon Snow. So we need the action hero. We need a Jon Snow in the show. So, we gotta let the story build up. I don't even remember Jon Snow being even relevant until at the very earliest season 2. So there are more characters to come, I hope. Obviously, I said I hope, but obviously there are more characters to come. I say I hope because I hope they don't cancel the show before we get there. Y'all that are still upset that Game of Thrones ended so terrible, let's give this show a shot. If you're not watching it, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, if you are watching it, let's not give up on it until they until they off Rhaenyra, all right, the little girl, because y'all know Game of Thrones ain't loyal to nobody. Whoever you think is the main character, Game of Thrones will knock them off. So House of Dragon may follow that same pattern. And when they knock off the little girl, she's a woman, but that's when we can turn our backs on this show. All right, but let's give it a shot, man. Let me know what y'all think about House of Dragon, the first 2 episodes. I think I talked about all the main points. Basically, in the storyline, they need to pick an heir. They chose this guy. The old king needed to pick an heir. He chose this guy. This guy ended up having the same problem. No males. He wasn't given. His wife wasn't giving birth to any males. So when he finally gave birth to one, it was a stillborn. I guess it wasn't a stillborn, but he died so soon after childbirth that you still had the kingdom up for grabs. And he has a brother, Daemon Targaryen, but the hand has a problem with Daemon. I don't know if y'all caught this, but the joust thing, Daemon called out his son, so he messed up his son pretty good. He messed up the hand's son, and then he made the hand's daughter give him that gift or whatever. But y'all have to rewatch it to see what I'm talking about. But anyway, the Daemon Targaryen wants to be king, and this guy lost his male heir, so he chose his daughter Rhaenyra, and Rhaenyra looks like she could be a great leader, but also she could have a touch of that the Mad King, all right, which is kind of what Daenerys had, a touch of that the Mad King, and she went mad. But that's essentially episode 1, where he picks Rhaenyra to be his heir. After the hand played his part and got Daemon kicked out of the what do you call it? I guess you call it the Red Keep, out of the city. And Daemon went on to Dragonstone. Episode 2, somewhere behind the shadows, he came back to the Red Keep and stole a dragon's egg and took it back to Dragonstone, got him a woman, and decided he was going to marry her and get his own true heir, because he doesn't like the woman they arranged with him to be married to. So he doesn't like her, and he said all of those women are ugly. So he got his own one, and he wants to have his own heir, and he's basically plotting that he's going to be the king anyway. So he's making all his movements to secure his throne, which is fair. And that is the point of episode 2, why the king needs to remarry, because they say the king is no fool. The people, this is what the lady said, Rhaenyra Targaryen. She said they would sooner burn the throne to the ground before they let a queen sit on the throne. So the king, this guy we're looking at, still needs to make preparations for a male heir, or it's gonna go to Daemon regardless, or they're gonna tear the city down. So that's what episode 2 was about. You know, episode 2 was about, it's what did I say the name of it was? A Rogue Prince. So Daemon showed that he's not evil. He could have thrown Rhaenyra off the bridge. He didn't do that because he loves his family. Obviously, in my opinion, he loves his brother. I don't know his feelings about this lady, but as far as his brother and his niece, he loves them, so he's not going to do anything to them. But that doesn't mean nothing will happen in the plot. We got this guy with his dreads that's moving around, moving pieces in the background, and all it takes is one piece to knock down, and all of a sudden you got disarray. So let me know what y'all think in the comment section about House of Dragon episodes 1 and 2, and I'll be down there in the comments with y'all, to argue with y'all. I was just playing.